Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the 2020 GPVWC Day. We are live here in Zurich, Switzerland, and we will take you for our traditional end of season meeting in a slightly different format this time. Obviously, we cannot be all together in a pub having beers or having dinner together, but we'll try to be as immersive and as realistic as possible, bringing you the most genuine GPVWC experience, except for Stefan McCready being very, very drunk. Just have to imagine that. It's our pleasure to have you here. We'll be going through a bit of the season, a bit of everything that happened in this fairly turbulent 2020. We say turbulent 2020. It's absolutely been an incredible year, an extraordinary year from every perspective. And we can definitely assume that a year like this, hopefully, will never repeat itself in our lifetimes. 2020 has had its impact and its great upheavals since the beginning. Obviously, the coronavirus pandemic has affected every realm of life, business, sports, and in a sense, besides obviously affecting massively the sanitary systems of the world, it also affected the world of sim racing. It can sound preposterous to associate the world of sim racing with everything that was going on with the world at large. However, in a sense, we too were affected. We were affected in positive ways, but also in negative ways. For obvious negatives, it's never nice to witness everything that happened in the world in this season, but also affected profoundly the working lives of many of us. Some people got suddenly a lot more work. Some people got suddenly a lot more spare time. These provided us with some difficulties in the fact that a lot of us had not as much time to share and devote to the league. At the same time, we had a massive influx of new faces and new people with a lot of spare time, locked in their houses during lockdown, and they took up sim racing or rediscovered sim racing as a new pastime, or a pastime they hadn't done in a long time. These have brought us a lot of changes, new people maybe not used to the league coming up. And yet this whole situation contributed to creating a season like we never had before. We'll share with you a few of the most important thinking points from 2020, something that deeply affected us and deeply influenced the way we look at 2021 and beyond in the way it affects GPVWC, Super League, and all the other series in the career ladder. "2020 has been a season of upheavals in the world, but it started a season of continuity. We decided to continue with the series that we've been offering until then, the 4 series in the career ladder, plus the Academy. We had the Formula Challenge, Super Cup, Super League Lights, and the Super League. We decided to focus initially on quality rather than quantity. We don't want to be in the situation we were in a few years back, in which we would have a lot of series that took up a lot of time, a lot of resources, and we couldn't really entertain in the right way and do the justice they did deserve. These especially came together with an expansion of the community that put pressure, nearly bursting at the seams at times in terms of drivers coming, in terms of new faces coming up. It was at this point that we decided to continue focusing on just our core specialties, which is open wheel racing. There's a lot of leagues offering great team top racing. We do love team top racing, and series like the World GT Championship was one of our favorites. But at this stage, knowing the situation we were in, we decided to focus on what was really important, which was the career ladder, and trying to improve it and offer an even better product that we offered in the past. As I said, we had a lot more people coming in, a lot of people that didn't have necessarily experience of the GPVWC. And that meant a lot of people asking questions. People needed a bit more guidance, especially in the first stages of their career with us. This meant, for example, that we had to focus more on bringing in people from GPVWC management side that could help manage these new people. And we did bring in people like Tom Parker to work with Menno in guiding these people and being able to use their own experience within the league to help these people make a smooth transition in the rest of the community. But we also needed to strengthen some of our core areas. We had people like Rob Mason taking charge of the disciplinary committee already last year. I'm working really hard to bring new people in to make sure that the work of the DC was more efficient, timely, and consistent than in the past. They already were doing a great job in 2019. It's one of the most difficult positions in the whole of the league. And yet we know that it takes a lot of time, a lot of skills and resources as well to get it right. And Rob has been working really hard to bring in a good group of people, and we're happy to say that a lot of the people that came in did an incredible job and an incredibly valuable contribution to the series that we had in 2020. It's very difficult to find good people. And our offer, and we mentioned several times tonight, our offer is always open for new people that want to help the GPVWC, want to dip their toes into the other side of running a league, not just participating, but playing an active role in actually shaping the future of this league. It's hard to find people, but we've got a great amount of people in our community, and we know that a lot of you will be also stepping up in the next few months and maybe in the new faces that will help us in 2021. 2020 was also a season of experimentation for something that we discussed for a lot of time, but we never really had the chance to do, which was expanding into new ventures and bringing our GPVWC brand outside of our community. The first of such official outings was with the Race All Star Series. We fielded a team in the second series. We started obviously with one event less than every other team because we were only accepted after the first round. But I think with the results we had and the quality of the drivers that contributed to our effort, we really showed that GPVWC means good sim racing. We were up against some of the strongest teams in sim racing, real racing teams, real marks, some of the top sim racing teams in the world, and we held our head high. And in season 3 as well, one of our drivers, Ian Deval, was in competition until the very last round to win the title. So I think we made ourselves proud, and we showed just how good this competition can be. We also brought in new partners. The search for partners is never ending, and we always want to bring in new people to our community. It's also finding the right partners, the ones that can bring some value to what we do. We brought in partners like IMB Raceware, a new company growing up, including people that work with us for a very long time. And I'm thinking people like Mike Pittman, who's been involved in GPVWC since 2005, I believe. So lives and breathes and knows our community really well. We want to deepen the relationship that we have with these partners. We speak about IMB and our plans we have for the future with them a bit later on. We'll also be speaking later about a few other partners that we want to bring in, media partners and other companies that we want to work with to bring extra value and maximize what we do here at GPVWC. But for the moment, just enjoy this trailer and this brief introduction to IMB Raceware. back to the studio. Thanks again to IMB. I'm sure all of you will have seen the range of products they have. And one of the things we want to introduce for 2021, for example, and I will be pushing really, really much with our friends there, Mike and Ian, is to have a GPVWC range. Whether it will be a success or a flop, I don't know. That's up to you. But surely we will see like the management team going around with beautiful teal green shirts. There's something, is a sight to behold. I don't know if it's a color that fits Parker very well, but we'll find out. We'll find out. I think Parker looks amazing no matter what he's wearing or not wearing, as his profile picture often shows, showing his guns at the beach. But enough talking about Parker's physique, and let's go back to the racing. Let's give a look back at the 2020 season and at the great racing we've had across the whole 4 competitive series of GPVWC sim racing. We'll be starting talking about trophies and presentations. This is always one of the parts that I prefer in our GPVWC day, is the moment in which our community members that might manage to win a championship can come here and get the moment of acknowledgement and recognition in front of the rest of the community, get a big round of applause, and come home with a trophy. Unfortunately, in this virtual world that we live in, made of Zoom meetings and live streams, this won't be possible, but worry not, we've got your details. We'll be sending out the trophies early in the new year, probably, because mailing systems are still affected by the situation. But you get your trophies. And this doesn't take away the fact that we'll be going now into the moment of recognition, starting with the presentation of the trophies for the Formula Challenge and followed by the awards. And for this reason, I would ask Menno to unmute his microphone and join me on the stage for this one.
Hello, hello.
Menno?
Yes, I'm here.
It's all yours.
If it works. Yes, the 2020 GPVWC trophy presentation for the Formula Challenge. And let's see.
Talk a bit about the incredible season we had.
Yeah, we had a incredible 2020 season. Of course, with COVID, it was a bit of a different season. We had 16 great rounds with 33 podium finishes in all those races and 17 different winners. I think it was a very good field in 2020 with a lot of new talents coming from everywhere in the world. We had a lot of Europeans. We had I believe people from Brazil and from Australia, from Canada, everywhere. They came and a lot of people actually did well. So it was a really good proving ground, this series. And I think we could be very proud with what the Formula Challenge has achieved in 2020. So
So without further ado, I'll move on to the presentation of the trophies, and I'll let you introduce the winners for this season.
Okay. Well, this is the top 3 finishes of the 2020 season. In third position from Poland is Simon Frelich. In a second position, it's from the United States, it's Sven de Vries. And the champion of 2020 from Denmark, it's Martin Hemmingsen, with Neptune Simracing getting the title at the teams for 2020. So congratulations, to you all. You did amazing this year. You were very consistent and really good driving from you all.
And I'll join you in congratulating all the winners, but these are not the only winners that we have today in Formula Challenge. because as with every year, we've asked managers to give us the votes for their top of the top in the series. We're talking about people like the best driver, the best team. Obviously, there's no rookie category in Formula Challenge because it's an entry series, but it's like most improved driver, and most importantly, one of my favorite trophies awards is the best. So Menno, on you go with you, the winners for this year's Challenge Awards.
Yep. The winners for best drivers, the team managers voted for, well, the champion, Martin Hemmingsen. The best team was RBA Racing. That's good. Then we've got best rookie. Best rookie, that's, I believe, not Wopke Hoekstra, but this show. I believe that's somebody else. Well, the best of the rest was Deegan Verkla. And best livery was Nova Simracing. So, yeah. Not sure who had the best rookie, but I think we post that later. So
I think we can find out and reveal it later in the show. It's a bit
let's do that. But yeah, at least everybody, congratulations with this. I think we had really good liveries this year. We had a lot of good drivers, a lot of fast rookies, and of course the best driver and best team are also I think well deserved.
And we expect to see these people then move on to other series because, you know, the quality that they delivered was incredible, Menno.
Yeah, the quality what they showed this year was incredible. You just see in sim racing, it will be a competitive, more competitive year after year after year, and I think this year in Formula Challenge they showed that there were so many drivers that could do well, and I think that was really good. I think a lot of teams had like really good races, and it was really close throughout the whole year. And I think we can be very proud on that, but also the drivers could be very proud on that as well.
Well, thank you, Menno, for your contribution as well tonight. We'll be hearing from you later because I know you've got a lot of things, interesting things to talk to us about the academy and a few changes also in the entry series. But we'll not spoil the surprise, and we'll talk about it later. And I think we go on now and we talk about the Super Cup, second series up the ladder, excluding obviously the academy. We'll cover the academy later as well. And for this one, I would like to invite Rob Mason to join me on camera to talk a bit about the Super Cup season and to obviously introduce the drivers and the teams that won the awards and the trophies.
Thank you, Will. Good evening, everyone at home. Thanks for joining us tonight. Nice to see you all a little bit virtually. So Super Cup then, 13th season of the series this year, which surprised me. Seem to remember it starting, but there we go, showing my age. Great grid this year, a lot of new talent, a lot of experienced drivers. Really good to see them fighting it out. And to that end, we had 11 different race winners throughout the season. And in the first 6 races alone, there were 6 different winners. So really showing the variety of talent on offer. This season, we had 20 drivers scoring a podium just to back that up further. So a real proving ground for the guys moving up to the higher levels. Both championships, teams and drivers, went right down to the wire with an exciting last round at Brazil, where we crowned our champions. Without further ado, we'll show you who they are. There we go. Taking overall honours, Alessandro Quintai, chased right to the end by Leon Bock and Frank Hamming. And of course, the team's champion was Pescara. So a very well done to all of them. A fantastic year, which I had the pleasure of doing the cameras for the first half of the year and kept me on the edge of my seat throughout and trying to keep up with you all. So very exciting. And of course, the Team Managers Awards, which we can move on to now. There we go. So voted for by the team managers: best driver, Alessandro Quintai; best team, Pescara; best rookie, Leon Bock, chasing down that title in his rookie season. So a great effort from him. Best new team, also, Pescara taking the title in their first year. Fantastic effort. Best of the rest, our very own Menno Clant. Most improved driver, Damien Cardaz. And the best livery, Pescara. So, great season, guys, and looking forward to see what everybody can do in Super Cup next year and moving up the ladder.
Well, thank you, Rob, for your contribution. Again, we'll hear later from you talking about the disciplinary committee, and well done to all the winners as well. Obviously a great performance by Pescara, who came home with 3 new trophies, 3 awards and trophies. So, well, congratulations to you. And then we keep moving up on the ladder, and we proceed to the Super League Lights award ceremony. And for this one, I would like to call the one and only, the man whose voice you all want to hear, with a smooth, silky Swindon accent, is Tom Parker.
I take offence to having a Swindon accent, but there we go. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Will. Yes, so Super League Lights. Only the second year of this series for our second tier of the career ladder. And another wonderful year for the baby Super League. We had 5 different race winners this year. So I think it's the most compared to last year as well, where Lucas obviously dominated last year. This year we had a different sort of domination, but we'll get onto that in a second. Liam Duval, obviously that driver who dominated and won the first 10 races of the season, I believe setting a new record for consecutive wins in the GPVWC career ladder, which is obviously very impressive. Colin Spork and Michael Francesconi both won 2 races after Liam had departed for Super League. And then Leon Bock and Matthew Williams also had 1 race win each. 15 different drivers scoring a podium this year in 2020 in the Super League Lights. So a great field spread again. 9 teams scoring a podium as well, so great variety of teams we saw up there on the rostrum. And like I said, Liam Duval departed the series after winning 10 races in a row with 6 to go to focus on Super League title tilt with Adonis. So if you'd like to just click onto the next slide, and we'll see our top 3 for the drivers and our team champion for the 2020 season. And obviously, like I said, 10 wins in a row, maximum points from his time in the series. Liam Duval wins the 2020 Super League Lights Championship, and then a very, very close battle for second place, going down to the final race between Colin Spork and Michael Francesconi, but a Dutchman just edging out in his rookie year in GPVWC. Colin Spork coming second, with Michael Francesconi, a staple now of the league, in 3rd place. And obviously Cenobite doing an incredible job to win the team's title, with obviously Liam Duval winning the title and Colin in 2nd. And like we said, we obviously have the awards as voted for by the team managers. So let's have a little cheeky look and see who got what. Once Will clicks a button. No, fantastic. So I don't think there's any doubt about who was going to win Best Driver. Liam Duval wins that, I imagine, by quite a landslide. And Best Team, his team, Cenobite Motorsport. So a double there for Liam Duval. And actually make that a triple as Colin Spork wins Best Rookie, as I said, rookie year in GPVWC this year, and coming 2nd place in the 2nd tier is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. Best new team goes to TG Racing Esports. So great to see Terence there, picking up an award there for his team, doing a great job this year. And best of the rest is our favourite man, Sandeep Singh, getting best of the rest, not quite getting a win this season, getting a couple of podiums. Obviously, I think I remember Germany sticking out in my head as a great driver of his. So great to see Sandeep getting best of the rest. Most improved then also goes to Colin Spork. So obviously Colin started the season as understudy to Liam. Obviously, once Liam left the Super League, he really rose to the challenge and led that team to the title, really. So well done to Colin. And finally, best livery goes to Drake Racing. Ben, you can give me the money because I gave you the winning vote. And yeah, great livery and all round a great year in Super League Lights. Looking forward to next season. And I was robbed of a best driver because my driver in Baku was fantastic by pitting on lap 2 because I broke my rear wing. So there we go. Yes. Thank you to all the teams who took part, all the drivers that took part. Best of luck to those staying in the series, both of those moving up to Super League, down to Formula Challenge, down to Super Cup, wherever you may be. And I'm very much looking forward to 2021. Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Tom. And now we move on to the top of the ladder, our flagship series, the Super League. Super League has gone a long way, and 2020 is definitely one of the top seasons we will remember in the 21-year history of this championship. We've had new names joining, some big names going, but incredible racing from the first race in the season in Australia to the, what we can say, controversial finale in Brazil. We had suspense, we had thrills. We thought some drivers were running away with the championship and then they were caught back. But it wasn't a full domination. Obviously, any championship that goes down to the wire is never a full domination, but it was not even a two-horse race. We had 8 different race winners in 16 rounds of racing. Obviously, in the Super League, it's one single race, so it gives you an idea of the scale of the quality and the variety of the racing we had. 13 different drivers on the podium, again, quite a number. And both championship drivers and constructors going down to the wire to the very tense finale in Interlagos. We had a season of debut winners. We had Adam Maguire, Fabrizio Gobbi, Leander Val, and Germano Zappalà, all coming away with their first ever win in the Super League. We obviously look forward to seeing a lot of these drivers then competing again in 2021 and renewing their challenges for the title. We'll have, like, hopefully the best season of racing ever. We had also debut titles for Adam Maguire and for Adonis Engineering. And from a manager point of view, we had every single engine supplier winning at least one race in the season. It shows how competitive the Super League is, how fine and small the margins are in Super League, and just how brilliant the racing has been in its ups and downs in the Super League in 2020. Without further ado, we go and offer our congratulations to the winners, to the podium in our standings, with Adam Maguire claiming his first ever title in the Super League, pipping on the last race Yannick Bock, our reigning champion, and Yanis Simoncic, who had a stellar season across many series, a huge talent, and he finishes third in the standings, and surely will be mounting an incredible challenge next year because we all know just how good he can be. The title, as said, goes to Adonis, an incredible performance from Menos team. Very pleased to offer him the trophy. He went close many times, and this time he finally made it. So congratulations to all of them. We can now move on to the awards for the season. As always, as in the other series, these awards were decided and voted for by the fellow managers in the GPVWC Super League. And the winners got Adam Maguire. It was a close vote, but he edges it out as best driver. And his team Adonis wins best team award. Fabrizio Gobbi, who, as I said, won his debut, his first ever win in the Super League, brings home best rookie of the year. And the best new team is Holland Racing Team, so congratulations to them. Best of the rest was voted Right Kilk. Obviously, was hugely competitive throughout the season. Most improved Germano Zappalà, who also won a race before the end of the season. And best livery, and I didn't get a vote, but it was one of my favorites, I have to admit it, was Edge Esports. So congratulations for all the winners. You will also receive your awards email sooner rather than later. Given this Christmas is in the way, but we will try to send them to you as soon as possible. It's time to come up briefly back to the studio because we sort of close off the page of 2020. We reflect on the positives and the negatives that we had throughout the season. As we said, it's been a season not without its challenges, both from a management point of view, with increased requirements, both in terms of time and resources, that led us to struggle at times and bring in new people, talented people to improve the situation, to the racing and the challenges that the incredibly competitive landscape of sim racing is bringing on this year. We've seen series of high level popping up everywhere. We've seen top teams, top drivers, all get into sim racing, and the quality and just the whole landscape of our hobby, sport, call it as you will, has changed dramatically, even more than in the last few years, in the last 12 months. And in this perspective, we want GPVWC to stay relevant. We want GPVWC to stay one of the league of reference for everybody else, at least on our Factor 2, our platform of choice. For this one, for this reason, we want to introduce new things and improve our offering as well for 2021. In the next few minutes, we'll go through a few of the plans and the ideas we have for 2021. Some we will announce tonight, some will be presented to you in the next few weeks, and all the way up to the run to the first tests, pre-season tests, early next season. We can now move on to the next slides. And this is what we're gonna do in 2021. Our key, as I said, is to ensure that a strong management team is there for you. Whenever you need it, you'll have somebody to talk to. These will work in two ways. We've obviously brought in new people that can be points of contact with the community, Menno, Tom, but any of the other people within the management and the administration can be points of contact. And if one is not available, we'll have redundant systems so that you can reach out to somebody else, and we endeavor not to have any query stay unanswered for too long. It's also bringing more professional ways, ensuring, as I said earlier, the continuity, that having the same people in the same position for several seasons can bring. We want to have people building their experience, knowing all the challenges that are not immediately obvious that are part of running a league. And this is only something you discover through experience of living through them, your skin. And the team we have now is all people that have been part of the league for quite a few seasons now, a lot of seasons, and have got a tremendous amount of experience. And all this experience and these numbers, it guarantees that we will have a stronger approach for 2021. People though are not enough. They are our stronger assets, but people alone cannot do the job. And we'll speak in the next few months and weeks about our website. The website under Stefan's guidance has already made a lot of step forward in the way our championships and our league present itself to the outside world, but still a lot that relies on the old website, and these will gradually be moved on to the new one in more efficient, better working, less buggy ways. We want to make sure that the best way not to have any issue on not having to go to the management is because you never have to go there in the first place. We want systems to work. We want systems to be intuitive. And we want obviously systems also to be easy to use and good looking. So we will work in all these directions to make sure next year is going to be the best year from a technological point of view as well, and from a management point of view in the history of GPVWC, 22nd year of our history. A big change over the last few years as well has been the disciplinary committee. Rob has been absolutely brilliant in taking hold of this group of people that unfortunately experienced a lot of turnaround in previous season, because let's face it, it can be a thankless job. You're obviously dealing with a lot of people that may not be happy about your decisions. It involves a lot of time, resources, energies that go into checking all the incidents, all the races. So it was an issue. It was an issue. We wanted to fix it, And thanks to the work that Rob has been doing in the last couple of seasons, it's been a massive change. And one of the things that is introduced, and regularly we speak about this later, is this survey, taking the pulse of the community, finding out what they think about specific items and issues related to racing, relating to the community, and using that knowledge to implement new solutions for the future. Having a disciplinary committee that listens to you. Obviously, that doesn't mean that there won't be any controversial decisions, doesn't mean that it will be a pushover disciplinary committee, but we take what the community wants and what the community feels into account when drafting the rules and regulations for the future. We'll talk more about the DC later. And we'll move on now to some other topics that we're working on for the future. One of the things that really made a difference this year in terms of sim racing in general has been the quality of the productions that we've seen in events, from the 24-hour Le Mans to the All-Star Series, to as well the improvements that we've done within our broadcast team in GPVWC. We want to take broadcast to the next level. The game itself, the platform we use, Factor 2, has improved considerably over the last couple of years. There's a lot more possibilities. There's a lot more expertise as well that's been accumulated over the years, and we've got a very dedicated team of people working on that. Tom later will speak a bit about our plans for broadcast in the future. And another thing that Tom will talk about instead is the community side. Obviously, Tom is one of our most respected and active members of the community, and he's always been very good at catching the pulse of what the community feels and what needs to be done to keep the community healthy. A healthy community is a community in which etiquette is respected, people are respected, different opinions are respected, and differences of personality are respected. We take a very much a lot of pride in having a league that's diverse in terms of nationality, in terms of gender orientation, in terms of disability. We are open to everybody, and everybody has been known to come here and find some good sim racing with no strings attached. We want to keep this open feel and this safe, healthy community going forward. And as communities grow, so do problems. And that's why Tom will talk about later about some of the steps we're taking to keep our community ticking, happy and healthy. The final things we're looking at for 2021, it's our social media and media presence. We've been lucky enough at the start of the year to work with you and Gail, who's been producing some excellent reports about all our races. We've had a lot of people offering and stepping up to run our social media, but that is now one of the biggest ways in which we can improve the way we approach our community and the outer world. We are very proud of what we're doing here at GPVWC, and we want to show it to people. We want to show it to everybody, and we want to make sure that they see what we are doing here and how great the racing is. So we will be expanding what we do on social media and in media. As I mentioned earlier, we're working to try and find a media partner that can work with us. We're already in fairly deep talks with a few very well-known publications that are interested in expanding the esports and sim racing presence with us. But we also want to increase the social media presence and production internal. So we appointed some new people and we'll make a full introduction of the team in the days following this GPVWC day. A new group of people that will take care of social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, going forward in 2021 and hopefully beyond. There's a lot of things to talk about in 2021. I have hinted to just a few now in this very, very brief outlook or what the future 12 months have got to offer us. But it's now time to get into a bit more detail. That's why I would like to call Rob with a outlook on what DC and the Disciplinary Committee will do in 2021. So please unmute yourself and join our community here on the virtual stage.
Thanks, Will. Right. Let's have a little talk about Disciplinary Committee stuff. There we go. So, a lot of changes based on community feedback for 2020. As most of you know, we had a good survey at the end of last season, something that we've carried on for this year. And I think 2020 for the DC was generally a more positive and consistent year. We had a better and more reliable structure. We had some great support from members of our community, some really reliable people working with us that stayed with us throughout the whole year, which is really key to us sort of getting things done on time and consistently, has been able to leave people on the relevant series and not chopping about throughout the season. So that's been really good. DC is quite a hard area, as Will's already alluded to. We walk quite a fine line between black and white rules and trying to let people race and have fun without over penalising. And sometimes, I'll openly admit, we stray the wrong side of the line, but we try to balance it out. And ultimately, we're trying to allow people to enjoy themselves, knowing that we can never please everybody. Having said that, there is always room for improvement. And part of our learning process is the survey that I've already alluded to. And we've got some key working groups going on in the background on rulebook, on track behaviour, and listening to the feedback during the season and implementing things on the fly if we need to. So this season's feedback from the survey, we had 70 responses. So thank you very much to everybody that contributed. You are helping to shape the future of what we do. And there was some really interesting stuff raised. So I'm not going to go through everything, but I've pulled out some of the interesting topics, which I'll quickly flick through and won't bore you to death with stats because I know you're all keen to get on. Track limits was quite a big change for 2020 following feedback last year. Let's go back a slide. There we go. So we gave a few options in 2019 for track limits, and 46%, which was the majority at the time, chose the limits we're now running with this year, which is all of the curbs being part of the racing surface. This year, 64% want to stay as it is. So actually, the change has been positive. More people want to stay as we are. So that's what we're going to do. We are not going to make any changes in that area. Racing room is a bit more of a contentious issue, I think, and it's one that doesn't always benefit from a black and white interpretation. So that is certainly an area we're going to be looking at going forwards. We were stricter in 2020 following the feedback in 2019. People wanted to see it more strictly enforced, which is what we did. And looking at the options that we provided for a general rule and guidance and how we shape forwards, people are happy with the general rule at the moment, which is to leave space for four wheels inside the white lines. Now, that probably needs some refinement. We've seen a few issues this year, but that's part of what we're going to be talking about in our working groups throughout the off-season. Penalties, again, feedback from last year was to start penalising people harsher, both in terms of licence points and the grid and time penalties. And overwhelming majorities in both areas we're about right where we are. I'll accept there's some room for refinement in some areas, and we'll be looking at that and reviewing if we want to change anything for 2021. And what happens when you lose your license? In 2019, everybody said leave it as it is, and basically the same again. So if you run out of license points, you're going to get a one-round ban. You're going to come back on 5 points. If you run out of license points again, that's you done for the season. License renewal. So this is in terms of unserved penalties. Most people interested in keeping the rule as it is and leaving the their unserved penalties till the end of the following season, and license point renewal to reset each season as we do currently. So no changes coming up in that area. Team and driver limits. This is provided us some quite interesting data for the management to discuss, and we'll be looking into this. So as you can see, we asked the question about changing teams mid-season in the same division, something which in the past we've tried to avoid. But there's quite a large majority, that's 77%, think that drivers should be allowed to change teams mid-season. So that's something we need to take away and have a little think about what we're going to do going forwards. And an interesting proposal that I got during the season was to limit the number of drivers allowed per team in a season, to stop, teams using 15, 16, 17, 18 drivers, and, put the emphasis on getting good people into the team. Split exactly 50-50 between people wanting that limit and not wanting that limit. So again, something management are going to take away, and we're going to have a look at what we're going to do for 2021 based on your feedback. Other comments, so things that I've had during the off season, and we had the open form on the bottom of the survey. There was a lot of good points in there, and some of the ones we're going to take away to discuss further. Private qualifying, which is in the survey as well. We've got some thoughts on that we're going to bottom out over the coming weeks. Reducing points in race 2 races for Formula Challenge and Super Cup is a very interesting idea. In-game cut detection is quite a big one for me. In fact, most of the DC time is spent looking at cuts, both in qualifying and races when they're appealed. So we're going to target getting in-game cut detection working for 2021, and that will be used as a judge of fact, effectively. So if the game invalidates your lap's invalidated, as opposed to defining track limits so strictly. The game will be the deciding factor. Last thing that people suggested that we're going to look at through the new website is team manager protest submission. So drivers are still able to protest each other, but giving the team managers the ability to do it on their team's behalf as well. Quite what shape that's going to take yet, I'm not sure. But it's something that we want to talk about. We can move on to the next. There we go. So 2021 plans. We're currently actively reviewing the rulebook. We've got a core group alongside the management looking at the rulebook. Specific areas that I'll mention here: wheel-to-wheel rules. As we mentioned before, changing away maybe from a black and white rule on leaving space into a more dynamic on-track racing experience is something we want to look at. And then there's some ongoing wording, refinement and clarity we want to look at as well. In-game cut detection, which I've mentioned, and then review of the DC structure, making sure we're as streamlined and efficient as we can be, and trying to get those penalties through the system in as quick a time as possible. Hall of Fame, the one everybody's excited about, and it's a high note for me to end on. Here are some of my favourite, I'm not going to read them all out, but here are some of my favourite responses to throughout the year. Cherry pick them. Yeah. This is me. Some of them might be a little bit lost in translation, but they give me a good giggle. So as long as you hold up your hands if you want to give me a funny defence after that, then it makes my evenings a bit more enjoyable. That is everything from me, and I'm now going to pass over to the main man, Mr. Tom Parker, to talk about some broadcast stuff for 2021.
Tom, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I am, and I couldn't find the button to unmute myself. Ha ha! So, hello, yes, hello. So, obviously, like Rob said, we're now going to move on to the broadcast side of things. So, as you can see on the screen, this is a disclaimer. None of this is confirmed. Nothing is set in stone as of yet. Obviously, broadcast is something we don't have to start sorting out right away. We can wait until January, February time for that to be sorted. So, just take all this with a pinch of salt. And yeah, I'll just explain you through what we've got. So, as the top one says, looking at professional provider for Super League broadcasts. So, there's obviously this year's been a big boom in sim racing and is an esport. We've seen the race do some stuff. Obviously, Formula Sim Racing, VEC, such big names in R Factor 2 itself have some incredible broadcasts, and obviously we want to try and join those guys in the top echelon of providing our viewers with the best broadcast we can. So. I know Will has been talking to a couple of people. Like I said, I won't name any names. Nothing is set in stone, but it's an opportunity for us to try and improve our broadcasts. If we do, we have stipulated that we want, at the very minimum, a co-commentator from within the community. Whether that's me, obviously having done the co-comments for the majority of the season this year, is yet to be known. But fingers crossed. If we don't do that, we do have a backup. I won't go into too much detail on that just yet. That'll obviously be explained later in the new year potentially, but we do have a backup just in case that isn't the case. For the rest of the career ladder, it's going to be status quo. We're going to be using the guys we have in our pool of talented individuals to continue with our current broadcast. So we have plenty of great commentators, great cameramen. Obviously, a massive thank you must go to Garrett DeVries for the amazing work he did last year. He basically held up the Broadcasting Guild, and I don't think any of us from the management can thank him enough. So a big thank you to Garrett, and obviously I know you said you're not interested in it for next year, but any help you can would be great. And obviously the last point, improve the production and overlays. So towards the end of the season, we had a couple of individuals giving us some great overlays and some great splash screens for us to use. And fingers crossed we'll be able to continue that into 2021. And I know that I'm looking forward to it as a management member. I know there's a lot of buzz around what we can do, especially if we do get professional provider. Yeah, it's very exciting. So that was the broadcast bit. Let's go on to the next bit, if it lets me. There we go. So the next bit. So like I said, Will alluded to earlier, a healthy environment. So obviously there's two parts to this. So obviously we have what we have on Discord, and obviously what we have in game on our servers. So I mean, for Discord this year, the general etiquette, I would say, and I did see someone in the YouTube comments say as well, I do think this year has been an improvement. Obviously, there's no league in the world in any sin, in any esport, in fact, will have a perfectly clean environment. Obviously, there are some people who are a bit more toxic than others, but I feel this year they have been dealt with. Obviously, we have unfortunately had to ban a couple of people this year, but I feel it was with reason. And if I have had to speak to people, 9 times out of 10, they have said, right, yep, I apologize. I will improve my behavior. And we have seen that improvement in behavior. Obviously, everyone loves a bit of banter, myself included. But obviously, we don't want to get into the toxic behaviors of name calling, just being downright rude to people and insulting people is an absolute no-no. Just basically be a decent person. I mean, how hard is that? So just make sure that you guys are keeping it healthy in there. In terms of post-race Discord chat, I get it. I'm the same. We all get heated after a race. I don't want to have to put slow mode on after each race. It was considered at one point throughout the season that we are just going to, that's it, done. We are going to put slow mode on for an evening, and you're going to talk after that. I'm not going to do that straight away. If I do see the post-race chat getting too toxic, I will do it. I will have no hesitation to do it. I know Will will do it. I know Rob will do it. I know Stefan will do it as well. So I have no qualms about doing it, but I don't want to, basically. I love seeing you guys argue. I mean, like I said, argue within limits, but obviously no one wants to see people name calling, people just being a general ick, basically. So what we want you to do is to think about that for next year. Like I said, this year has been an improvement. I have been impressed with some of the people, especially towards the end of the year when we did start to say, look, you need to step it back, and you guys did. So thank you all for that. And I do think, I mean, looking at others' forums, I do think we have a good community. I do think we are one of the best in the sim racing world. And I just want us to keep that trend going, really. So for in-game etiquette, pre-race, obviously, practice sessions when you're in the server practicing on official days. So if you're in the week practicing, I don't mind you having a laugh and a giggle if it's just a few of you. But if there are people in there testing, we've got to stop like crashing people on purpose when people are around trying to test. I mean, not all of us have the time of day to test 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I just want to make sure that if there are people in there, just be a bit more courteous. I'm not saying that it's a common thing. I've only seen it once or twice this year, and I thought I won't say anything now. But if it does keep happening, it's not something I want to get involved in, really, because it's not something that we should be. In race, obviously, anything after qualifying or during the race, no chat. I mean, I think this year the DC, and I think Rob will agree, have been very lenient on that. I would be pushing next year. If you talk in the race, or you talk before Chris has said we are done in qualifying, I will give you a penalty. I don't want people, especially, I know Formula Challenge, you're going to be more, less experienced, so you're not going to understand it as well as some other people maybe, but I don't want to see chat in the race. It might be the last lap and you might be frustrated, but I don't want people chatting and distracting other people whilst they're racing. It's not fair on them. It's not fair on the broadcast. It's not fair on anyone. So can we just keep a bit of an eye on that? Again, it's not many people, and I didn't see it as often as I have in previous years, but it is something that I think we'll be leaning towards, maybe starting to warn and protest and possible penalties for. So just avoid that. And obviously, will be the same rule. Once the R&D, whether it's myself, Chris, or Sandeep, for example, once they say, well done, race winner, well done, qualifying, pole position, then you're free to talk, free to do whatever you want, okay? And then leading on to the post-race chat, obviously, it's the same as Discord, really. We don't want you to bitch and moan about, oh, so-and-so ruined my race, so-and-so lag, blah, 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 blah. If you want to protest something, protest it. Don't air your dirty laundry. I mean, at the end of the day, you'll be seen in the worst light by not just the DC, but the community. And you don't want that reputation of being a moaning Myrtle. So, like I said, it has been an improvement this year overall as an etiquette. Like I said, I think we have one of the best communities in Simracing. I mean, look at GPV Day itself. I don't think I see many leagues doing this sort of thing. So be good. I won't have to annoy anyone. They won't have to annoy me. Happy days, hugs and kisses. This time next year, we can all give each other hugs and kisses, and we'll be really, really happy. There we go. William, you can take control back because I'm done.
Oh, thank you very much, Tom. And I think you pointed out something really good there. You mentioned GPVWC Day, and you mentioned our community. And obviously, there is one of the things that set our community apart. We do get together. Unfortunately, we weren't able this year. But this is one of the reasons why we organize these days, to strengthen the spirit of the community and to bring everybody together, because once you get to know somebody, I'm not saying they will become your friends, but you humanize the people that's on the other side of the keyboard. Makes it a lot easier, makes it a lot more reasonable levels of conversation, because you know the person you're actually potentially want to call names, and it is something that you probably wouldn't do in real life. But then again, we know red mists sometimes happen. That's why we ask you, take a breather, maybe take 5 minutes away from the computer, come back, and you see things in a different light. Our community, as Tom was saying, is the best, is the real strength of this this league, and is something that we really, really want to preserve. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, Rob, as well, for your contributions. There's 2 examples of the incredible work that has been done. Tom has also mentioned Gerrit for the broadcast. And I just want to extend my thanks on behalf of all the administration and all the community to all the people that have been giving a lot of their time, a little of their time, any of their time, to making this place better. This is always thanks to you that we are able to race for 10 months a year. We're having a lot of fun. We're getting a great quality of racing, and everybody can find some enjoyment on our virtual tracks. Now, we'll have a break in a little while, but before we go on to the break, there's one more topic that we need to cover. I mentioned something earlier about it, which is the media and social media. Now, I mentioned earlier that we're bringing new people in. We're bringing new writers in to prepare reports about the races. We want to bring new people that can give you the extra bit of information, the feature about the driver, the feature about the team, a track guide, something that you wouldn't just be getting by chatting with a person, or not just something that goes beyond the results on the website, because we want to bring our website alive with content you find interesting. Now we're bringing in a lot of new people, also for social media, as I mentioned earlier, to cover Facebook, to cover Twitter, to make use of the great imagery that we create every race day on our Instagram and Instagram stories. And we want to work as well with other media partners. We were obviously receiving coverage from therace.com this year about all our races by itself. gave a lot of, generated a lot of interest in our league. People came to see, people came to ask questions about the management system. And that's something that we want to do more in the future. There's a great benefit in having media partners working with you, reaching their audiences with information about racing. We can pride ourselves in the quality of the races and the names that compete. When we see people, like Yanni or Liam or Adam as well, Yannick, also competing in other series, and I'm just naming a few names here, and competing at the highest level. So the fact that they're competing with us is a great thing, and media may want to talk about it. So we will try and keep working with more media partners. The important thing for us, though, is that any plan we make for 2021, both relating to media and relating for all the other departments that we've covered so far, or we'll cover in the rest of the evening, has to be sustainable. Now, sustainability is a buzzword at the moment. It covers pretty much everything you want to cover, from the environment to human resources. But sustainable in itself is a great aim. And when we look at media, for example, we see all over the place, not just in our league, but in every organization, people starting offering everything when enthusiasm is high at the start of a season, and then grow slowly, growing disillusioned, and the content fades away. Now that is a problem not just for us, as I mentioned, but we want to take it on ourselves to ease this problem. We want to be realistic when putting forward new plans. We want to be sustainable. We want to know that what we're offering at the first race of the season is what we're offering at the last as well. And we'd rather offer, a reasonable amount of content in the first race rather than going all out with bells and whistles, but knowing that we can do that all the way down to December when the season is over. So this will be our approach. And for this one, we also need your help. Your help as teams, your help as drivers. Now, when we set up the old GPVWC website, it was a different time. It was before social media really took off. Just shows you the age of the website. But it was a time in which posting stuff on our website was the only outlet for teams to post and reach an audience. Now, times have changed. Most teams, if not all of them, have got their own social media accounts, a Twitter account, they're posting stuff on social media, the drivers themselves are doing so. And we want to encourage that, and we want people to mention our league, we want people to talk and engage with this content. But I also want you to let us know, because one part of what we'll do is to work with you to bring the content you're already creating for your outlets onto our website, to drive traffic to you, to give you visibility, and also to provide a GPVWC website with a fresh outlet of new content that we can use to really generate interest and keep the interest of our community high about the great racing we do. This is in a nutshell. We have a lot of plans that we're still refining, and we'll bring to you and to the community in the next couple of weeks and after Christmas as well. There's a lot to be excited about. We brought in some incredible people that will work with us, and we really cannot wait for the season to start again and be able to deliver all this content. Now, it's been already more than an hour of us talking. We'll have some more content in a little while, but we will be having a short 10 minutes, 15 minutes break just to allow you to go grab a beer or a glass of wine, or just relax, play with your cat, but don't go away. We're coming back in 15 minutes. Thank you for watching until now, and we'll see you soon. Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoy your break. I hope you've got a cold beer in front of you, some snacks, some food, because we're about to start again. There's plenty more to come. There's obviously the very interesting bits waiting for you with the calendar reveal and the composition of the 4 series of the career ladder. But there will be more that we're going to sink our teeth into. Before we go to that, however, we're joined now by a special guest, Ian Berriman of IMB Raceware. Welcome, Ian. I think you're muted now. First of all, welcome to GPVWC Day. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And I would ask you to explain a bit, first of all, for the few who don't know what IMB is and how we are planning to work together in 2021.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me today. Firstly, good to see loads of people in the chat and watching. So IMB Raceware is basically a company started by myself and quite a few others. I think Mike Pittman will be well known around these parts. But we basically aim to bring simware, teamwear, and much more coming soon at an affordable price, but with the quality you would expect to get at the price point that we have. So we started out about 4 months ago now with just an idea and a logo, to be honest. And yeah, it's gone really well. Obviously, we teamed up with GPVWC very early doors, and the season so far, yeah, has helped us grow. And obviously, it's been great working with everybody there, including obviously yourself, Will. We put up prizes for the champions this year, which was great to do. There was obviously some fantastic action. So congrats to the champions, just personally from me. I think 2 of you have contacted me now, so we'll have to sort the others out as soon as they get in contact. But no, it was a great season and great to work with everybody there. But we are obviously expanding as well as a company. We've brought on a lot more staff now. The company's moving forward with new products. Just a couple of mentions. We've got the external stitch sim glove now, which obviously takes all the traits of our other gloves, but with the external stitch. And then obviously probably the most exciting, something that we've had in production probably for a good 4 months, as long as we've been going, is the sim socks. So these were developed and tested and changed and tested to bring something new to the sim market, because not everybody wants to wear sim boots. So it's a nice alternative. And I think we've got them at a good price, a competitive price, and very fair for what they are. But yeah, there's obviously a lot more to come from us. We're approaching the end of the year now, obviously. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of exciting stuff coming in 2021. Obviously, one of those being continuing the partnership with GPVWC. It's been great speaking to a lot of the teams and drivers over the last few months. A few of them have given feedback with products and sort of helped us develop on. So yeah, more of the same, and see what we can do with yourself, Will, and obviously the whole of GPVWC next year, and continue to build that partnership.
Obviously, one of the things that maybe a lot of people are wondering about is like there's a lot of race wear and teamwear suppliers out there, but there's something very specific about IMB, which is your motto is for you by you, and you take custom made together with obviously the quality to a completely different level. Just give us a bit of an example of the level of custom you intend for your products.
Sure. I mean, obviously you can go and buy off the shelf stuff. You know, a lot of sim racers are, tend to use anything from gardening gloves, mechanics gloves, up to even karting gloves. We obviously, we want to have the product purpose made for sim racing, but yeah, the custom side of it is something that I think is very unique to us. We are able to literally treat the glove or boot or shirt or whatever the product is like a blank piece of paper. So you can come along and decide every last element of that, every last pixel. With our fully custom, we give you effectively a blank canvas, like I said, and then we've got templates as well. So they're preset designs where you can come in and choose your colors, put your name on it, put your flag on it, your race number, if you've got a logo or any particular text that you want. For example, we had somebody that has got a couple of kids, and they wanted one of their kids' names on each of the straps on the left and right glove. So we really can accommodate to pretty much give you whatever you want. There's no sort of hidden fees or costs. I know with a lot of the competition, it's, you get this product and you can have one logo, and then it's, X amount per logo on top of that. But, the price that you see on the website is the price you pay, regardless of what you do. So yeah, something we're very passionate about, to be able to bring. I think we're the only people really doing it to this level. And again, to match that with the quality that we've got, I think is something quite special. And so far, so does everybody else. Like I say, big thanks to the sim racing community for trying us out. Obviously, quite a lot from the GPV as well. It's building well, and yeah, really proud of it.
Well, clearly, obviously, you just showed us the sim racing socks, and I think that really warrants a Christmas present to myself that I will make. Clearly, that
two
is
pairs
where
with
I
your
don't
name.
get the seconds. Yeah, there's still at least a second and a half a lap in socks only. That is the only reason why I wasn't very fast. Was missing socks.
Absolutely.
You've got also like a full range of clothing, team wear. I know you're working also with some real racing athletes as well, some drivers competing internationally. So you're already going places with this brand.
Yeah, I think we've been really lucky to work with, some people that were happy to come on board from day one. Obviously, there's always a risk with a new company, but I think we sort of made ourselves quite clear with where we'd come from. I think one of the lines we'd said a lot was that the company is new. Me, Mike, and the rest of the team's experience in this sector is not. We've got countless years between us. So, for example, Abby Pulling is one to mention, the Formula 4 driver. She came on board with us very early. I think we actually launched with her. And then Cian Donaldson, I think, is the name that you'll know around here as well. Obviously, driving the Mazdas has just been announced. So, yeah, there's a lot of key names to come in the new year as well. But I'm ever so thankful to the, obviously, real racing drivers. We've got streamers in the form of Richard Goodwin, another couple of unannounced. I've got to be careful who I say. And some great teams as well that have come on board with us to sort of really help grow with us, promote us, and like with GPVWC, just build together and work together and bring possibilities to all of our partners, with other partners and with different events, to get that real community. So yeah, again, watch this space. It's going from strong to stronger. So.
Well, we'll definitely be watching. I've had the privilege to see some of the things you're working on behind the scenes, and well, there's a lot of stuff there. We'll not say, don't want to spoil the surprise when you're actually launching it, but there's going to be a lot of cool things coming in. I know we'll also be talking about ways to strengthen the partnership between GPVWC and IMB for the coming season. And I mentioned that earlier. I've seen your stuff. And I want to create a full GPVWC range and put it on sale, because that's the way we want to be seen, especially now that, as I said, we're competing in other series. We're really putting our brand forward, and that's the same thing that any other team competing in GPVWC, big growing teams could do. That's how you put your brand forward, and you don't want to have something off the shelf with just a little plaster on. You wouldn't do that with your car livery. What would you do with what you're wearing or what you're using? So that's really incredible. And obviously you've got Mike as well, and I think we all know Mike and respect what he's done in sim racing. So we know you've got the right people in the right places.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Mike is an absolute driving force of this. We all know Mike. He's got his ways, definitely. But when you get down to business, I mean, I don't think there's anybody better I could be in business with. He's ultra professional. He's very dedicated, very passionate. I mean, the guy never takes a day off. It's incredible. So yeah, I'm really proud of the team. Like I say, that's expanded now. We've now got several people on our design team. We've got somebody handling all of our social media now. We've got guys doing customer service, and we're expanding our sales now as well. And that's all down to obviously the growth and the sim racing community, because, you know, at the end of the day, without them, we wouldn't sell anything. We wouldn't be able to do it. So it is very humbling and very almost overwhelming how we've been accepted. And yeah, I'm just so thankful for it. Even Mike Pittman.
I mean, somebody has to. But no, jokes aside, obviously we all know the work he's doing, and he's absolutely relentless. You know, when he's determined, and he's absolutely somebody who can push a brand, you know, just as he did with his own team. But obviously, you know, we're encouraging everybody who's watching and everybody in our community to go and visit your website. I suppose there's a fully functioning shop, and you can see with your eyes and with examples, photos, all the range, all the different custom options there are, and really there's things on sale, like actually the compression sleeves, stuff that I would never ever thought about. Which leads me to the last question though. We've talked about the athletes you're working with, we've talked about the products you're offering, and we talked about the incredible custom service you do. But when are you going to enter your own team in GPVWC? Well,
I think once I can sort of find the 4 to 7 seconds a lap I need to be competitive, we can look into it. We have talked about different options and bits like that. Mike is obviously very successful at running teams in GPV, amongst other places. I think for now we're happy working with the overall league. So yeah, I just don't think there's anybody in the team that could get the car around the track, if I'm honest.
We'll organize like a slow league, you against me. I think we can be competitive against it.
Yeah.
No, well, I just want to thank you for the incredible work you do. It's something that really allows. I mean, I was a team owner, and I've looked at clothing opportunities and teamwear for years, and I never really found anything that didn't look tacky or cheap. And now you're bringing, you know, teams like the one I used to have, and like all the ones that are competing in GPVWC, the opportunity to have professional looking teamwear and racewear at, you know, a very, very affordable price. So I want to say thank you for giving this opportunity to World of Sim Racing. Thank you for, you know, working with us at GPVWC, and thank you as well for taking the time to come and join us today. I'll be in the virtual world of the first ever Zoom YouTube GPVWC day. So thank you so much, and obviously, you know, stick around with us. You know, Ian and Mike and a lot of the other people from the team at IMB are on our Discord. So if you've got any questions about products, about prices, about like the production process, get in touch with them. They've got the IMB Raceware tag on the Discord name, so they can approach them. I mean, who in our league hasn't spoken with Mike Pittman at least once, or, you know, Mike Pittman has tried to sign him at least once. So you know the guys, and, you know, get in touch with them. Thank you again, Ian, for joining us. As I say, like stay on if you want, and you figure out and you see all the things we're introducing for 2021. Yeah, we're taking it on. For those of you who are still here and not all on the IMB Raceware website already, putting orders. Thank you so much. I think the next thing we're going to talk about, we've spoken with Ian about the prizes he's been given this year already for the champions of the Career Ladder Series. Next on, we're going to look at the Career Ladder and everything that we're going to introduce for 2021 in the Career Ladder, starting from interesting bits that will affect everybody, and then going on to some of the specialized things that just relate to Super League, for example, or the full management series. some of the things we're introducing for 2021, and for this one, I will probably need the assistance of some of my colleagues here. Is the mods, the 2021 mods. Now we've taken the decision to release some early version of the mods early for the community to sort of try and get a hold and provide some first feedback. We obviously have a test mod group, but rather than me talking about all those things that probably you already know, and obviously acknowledging the incredible work that Chris Williamson leading this mod team has done so far, and he will be doing between now and March. By the way, hi Chris. I've got Tom here, who's probably the quickest driver when he's not disconnecting among our midst in the management team. Can talk more about our mods.
Unlucky Menno. Anyway, yes. So as my camera is not as centered as it was before. Yeah. So yes, the 2021 mods, as Will has alluded to, we have already released the Formula Challenge and Super Cup beta mods for the 2021 season, which I believe may actually be in record time for the league. So that's really, really good and shows that we are looking to progress the league even further and make sure we give you guys a good mod to race. Obviously, like I said, big thanks to Chris, and also a massive, massive, massive thank you to Robin Panzer for getting these cars out, pretty much starting from scratch. So really, really big thanks to him. And fingers crossed, we will keep those mods in development. Obviously, little bits and little niggles here and there, but I know Robin has got a update for these mods in the next couple of weeks, so we are very much looking forward to that one. In terms of the Super League / Super League Lights mod, I'll be going on to that in a little bit in the next couple of slides. We'll be talking specifically about the Super League mod, and obviously that ties in with the Super League Lights mod. Yeah, and I'll explain about it a bit earlier, but in a little bit of time. Other than that, yeah, really, really happy with the feedback we got. Thank you, everyone, for giving the feedback on the mods so far. If you want to, as my battery is just dying. There we go. Any more comments, any more as we release the mods in time, please let us know. And like I said, we want to try and give you the best experience possible as a driver in our league. And I feel like releasing the mods so early gives us that opportunity. Obviously, we'll have our preseason test as usual for each series. Obviously, that'll be going on. We'll be going on to that in a bit more detail later as well, to try and iron out any issues such as mod issues or track issues. But yeah, very, very excited for ahead just for already with the Formula Challenge and Super Cup mods. So thank you to the guys, to Robin and Chris especially. And yeah, I will now hand over to everyone's favorite Menno for the 2021 Academy Series.
Menno. Well, just as
Here he comes. He's coming.
Yeah,
it's good.
Just as Menno comments.
Yeah.
Menno, obviously the Academy has been a big lifesaver. When lockdown came, got a lot of new people into the league. They had to start somewhere, and the Academy was right the old place. I mean, you even got me to race in a couple of races, which is the biggest achievement that possibly anybody could ever had. And we've got big names coming. We got like journalists, we got, commentators, we got John Nichols and Scott Mitchell even racing, and then going on to do great, or maybe not the greatest things in the Super Cup, but still, they came through that, and just as they came into the league through the Academy, so did so many other people that then went on to compete in the main series.
Yeah, well, the 2020 season of the Academy Series was pretty amazing. Of course, with COVID, a lot of people stayed at home, and they decided they wanted to start sim racing. And yeah, they found our league, and you need to start somewhere. And yeah, at the Academy Series, it's easy to jump in. Well, we try to give a lot of new people on Air Factor 2 a lot of help with certain settings, and then they can start racing, and I think that was something we did really well this year. with the whole COVID thing, we actually did more races. Normally, we did academy races every 4 weeks, but now every 2 weeks we did races, and I think a lot of new talent came out from that series, and I think really a lot of people progressed. Well, most of them in Formula Challenge, but even people went to Super Cup and Super League Lights in Super League. So it was a really positive year for the Academy series. So yeah. So I'm really happy that we had that this year, and for next year, of course, that will be there again. So that's I
So
think a good positive. Yeah.
And obviously the plans for 2021 for the Academy, like to go bigger and better and still use it as a main point of entry for new people.
Yeah. Yeah, true. And that's still our aim to help all the people who are new to Air Factor 2 to start in sim racing and start in GPV, and give them a base of sim racing, a stable environment where they can learn how to sim race. And I personally saw a lot of people who started in the academy series and progressed, like they were so fast in a few months, learning a lot of racecraft in the academy series, and then moving on onwards.
And obviously not fully officially linked, but intimately connected to the Academy series is also the Academy team in Formula Challenge, which is also a great way to give new drivers that has shown in the Academy series an opportunity to race in a career ladder.
Yeah, what we always wanted to do, and when I have the FC Team Academy for a few years now in the Formula Challenge, is to help people progress with that. And this year we did fine. I believe we had 23 different people starting a race in that team, and I think I think 70 to 80% actually got another seat out of in one of the other series on another team in the Formula Challenge out of that. So that shows that actually the whole idea we have with the Academy series is working. You can just get in when you're a rookie, and you will be noticed if you do well, and then you can launch your sim racing career from there, and that's a good thing. We saw a lot of good talents also this year starting in Academy series, and actually performing well in all the other series they did.
It's really good. It's really good, and obviously, I'm really looking forward to seeing what 2021 will bring for the Academy and for all the drivers that join the league and through it and then go on to succeed. But one of the natural ways of progression from the Academy series through the Academy team is then into the lower rungs of the career ladder, especially Super Cup, Formula Challenge. And we've got some changes in store for that one, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a few changes in store for those series, and I think we will see that soon. So that's
like, for example, there's a new point system.
Yes, there's a new point system for next year for the Formula Challenge and for the Super Cup. While those two series will have still two races like they had this year, but we will now have a new point system for the second race of the evening, so the sprint race. And the first race will keep the same points, but the second race will have less points for the winner. That's because we want to give the fastest one in quali and the guys that win the main race, if you can call it like that, more points. So we give for the second race, we have a bit less points, but we still wanted to make sure that at least the top 15 still score points. So that's what we now actually have planned up for 2021. And yeah, also we will add the fastest lap point for the 2021 season. So all good and new. And I think this is a good step for us. I know a lot of people were asking for this, and yeah, I think this is a great option for at least those two cities for the second race of the evening.
Well, the surely is going to spice and change things up compared to what it's been so far. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I'm pretty sure the whole of the community, and especially the teams and the drivers, will be competing in those two races, in those two series. We'll be looking forward to compete. It will take some changes also in the strategy. We've seen some people also maybe not playing the systems, but definitely paying attention to where I ended up in race one, and maybe trying to get an advantage for race two. So it'll be interesting to watch. Now, moving on, though, these will obviously only relate to Formula Challenge and Super Cup. We've got some changes also for the Flagship series, the Super League. If you look at, earlier in the season, we had spoken about bringing a lot of changes for 2021. But a bit like our real world counterpart, Formula One, the whole situation with COVID and the changes and the very different circumstances in which many of us has found themselves meant that we're probably gonna introduce them more gradually and push them back a little in time. And the things we're mostly focusing on is obviously a new mod that Chris and his teams and the testers from all teams have been practicing on. We've introduced, as we've announced in a news item a couple of months ago, prize money for 2021. And then we will give you a bit of an outlook of how our medium-term plan is looking like for 2021 and 2022. Obviously, we spoke about it more earlier with Tom, and I would like to call Tom once more, unless his battery has completely died.
That would good.
Bit of a chat about the Super League mod and what he can actually tell us about it at this stage in time.
Yep, thank you, Will. So, like I said, we do have a very early version of a Super League and Super League Lights mod ready. Obviously, one of the big things this year, one of the criticisms I think, which I think is a fair one, was the fact that the R&D was very similar to last season. So that will be changing this year. Not 100% sure on how that will look yet, but we have had a few ideas brainstormed, and it will be different. So it won't be a copy and paste of 2019, 2020. It will be a new way of doing it. Obviously, that'll be integrated with the new website, obviously with Stefan's help. So very much thank you for that. The mod itself. So like I said, Robin has done a great job, again, of making a very base mod. And he has also had some help from Laurent Keysmakers as well. So we want to thank those two for making an alpha mod. Now, obviously, the inevitable questions will come out. Obviously, they're part of the Super League team this year. Should they be doing it? So what we're going to do to combat this is we are going to release the mod as soon as possible. So hopefully within the next few days, or if not at the latest next week, to all of the Super League and Super League Lights teams only. This is to ensure that we try and get as much parity as we can. Obviously, we don't want a team having more practice than one on another. Obviously, we can only ask that you don't share it if you are in Super League and Super League Lights. It's just one of those polite things. I mean, you probably are going to share it. I'm going to ask you not to, but there we are. So, like I said, Super League and Super League Lights mods will get the early version of the alpha as soon as possible. I've been talking to Robin and Laurent as much as I can, obviously real world, etc., and for both us and for them. But yeah, it's one of those things that we are looking forward to. We want to give you a new mod. We want to give you the best mod that there is out there for an open league, for an open wheeler league that we can obviously develop as a with the R&D. Obviously, it'll be the same before for the Super League Lights. It'll be I think it's for 50% R&D level of Super League. So that'll all be announced as soon as possible. Yeah, very excited to have a new one, have these two excellent mod makers on board. Obviously Chris as well be leading the charge on making the mod and uploading the mod as well, so a big thanks to them. And yeah, I hope you're all going to be really excited with the mod for this year. Yeah, that's it. Obviously, look at prize money for teams, as Will has said. That's a massive thing as well for the Super League itself. Obviously, we want to try and reward the best of the best, and we obviously want to make sure everyone gets a chance at earning their money back. Basically, obviously, there's it was announced obviously last month, and we want to encourage friendly competition and give everyone a chance to try and try their hardest throughout the whole season, rather than we did obviously have the option of doing top 3 only, which we have done in the past, but we felt that was unfair because obviously it's quite clear early on who is the top 3, and we thought no, we want to give everyone a chance. So this gives not only gives everyone a chance to earn some money, but it also gives them the motivation to keep going all season long, all the way through to round 16 of the series. So we are very much excited, and we look forward to giving that mod out soon. And obviously, you'll be finding out later on who in the Super League and Super League Lights teams are. And we look forward to having your feedback, having your opinions, and just very excited for next season.
Well, thank you so much, Tom, for your contribution and for explaining it, the situation very clearly. Again, we strive to keep things as fair as possible. We don't want to give anybody an undue advantage early on. So it's good to open it up as soon as possible, because as you say, it really going to matter next year with prize money being brought back in a different way that we've done before. Every point will matter. Every point will mean something. Drivers that maybe join later in the season will still have something to fight for, even though, say, like the championship may be out of reach already. And it would definitely be something that will contribute to keep bringing the most talented drivers in open wheels on our Factor 2 to our league. So there is one of the positive changes. The other non-change that I'm sure will be very well received is that we do all of this without raising the license fees. You guys know that the license fees are reinvested fully into the league. We are not profiting from any of that. All we set up, we didn't. So it's not where your money is going. The money is going to pay for the prizes, making sure that we've got like the best racing. We're still going to have physical trophies sent to the winners. There's a tradition that we are very proud of, and they will continue. We're still going to invest it in hopefully a nice round of beers for everybody, and next year's GPVWC Day, which is going to be in Natalie. You'll find out soon enough. Once the seasons are started, we'll start talking about GPVWC next year. But yeah, it goes into making sure that we can compete in the best ways. We've got nice broadcast, we've got performance servers, and we minimize the technological difficulties that one could have. So we invest every single penny, and next year it's not going to cost you 1 penny more than it cost drivers and teams in 2019 and 2020. So there's a positive. 2020 is this year, actually, yes. I mentioned earlier the big changes we want to introduce this year. We've been talking behind the scenes, and a lot of the people that have been coming up with suggestions have been involved in these discussions on ways in spicing up and changing the way we do things. I think Tom earlier mentioned about like some changes with R&D, but we want to bring the simulation, especially in the management series, to the next level. We've been doing things in the same way for quite a long time. There were some reasons for that. Some were like physical limitations of complexity. Some of them were actually based on the fact that we had some limitations with what we could do in the website, how we could run and manage the data. Obviously, the new website is coming up. There will be plenty of new apps and new features coming with it. And this gives us a chance to really introduce something new. We want to look back at every single element in the league. How the ranking works, how do drivers' values work, how does R&D works, how do teams collect R&D points, to spend them, and what can we do extra to make these a true and full simulation of motorsport at the highest level. We've seen a lot of new games coming up. Motorsport Manager, there's new Formula One Manager game coming up. And we want to compete at that level. We want to recreate that full experience that you can have competing against a computer or other players online. You want to create it here in GPVWC. So we will be developing all the systems together with Stefan, together with our team, and we'll get a lot of input from the community as well. But this is where we're going in 2022. We thought we didn't want to rush it. We want to do it right rather than do it quick. That's why we didn't push it for 2021, even though the discussion was had. But we want to make sure that when we deliver this new system of management simulation and racing is the best racing and sim racing you've ever done. So this is what we're looking for, and this is what we'll talk about throughout the season as we go on developing, and hopefully when we meet again in 12 months time at GPVWC Day in, not telling you still, we'll be able to unveil the whole system and really show you the next step for hopefully the next decade of racing here at GPVWC. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've seen some of the messages, and there are certain things that you really, really want to talk about. There's not much left to talk and to explain and to show you, and it's GPVWC Day. It's 10 o'clock in the night here in Zurich, Switzerland, and we want to make sure that the bits you've been waiting for get released now. As usual, we'll keep the teams making up the 4 series of the career ladder for last. But the first bit we will reveal is the calendar. Now, the calendar we're going to have for the career ladder will replicate itself for the 4 series. Obviously, there will be some changes between 1 race, 2 races. The locations will be the same. We've got 16 races in each of the calendars, 16 events in each of the calendars, race nights. Some welcome returns to the calendar and some new tracks altogether. So without further ado, it's time for me to introduce the 16 rounds of the 2021 GPVWC Career Ladder. We start in Australia, and then we'll go to Bahrain, China, India, Azerbaijan, Austria, Canada, Great Britain, Germany, France, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, Japan, the United States, and as traditional, we will finish our season in Brazil. Now, we've got 4 circuits returning from the past in this 2021 season, with the Indian Grand Prix and the Chinese Grand Prix returning, respectively at the Bud International Circuit and Shanghai International Circuit. Austrian Grand Prix will return at the Red Bull Ring, and barring track disaster, the French Grand Prix will be held in Magny-Cours. Now, we've got a German Grand Prix here in the calendar, and most likely this will be held at Hockenheim. So this is where we're going to race, but I know you want to know who is going to race on these tracks. We're going to move on to the GPVWC Career Ladder grids, and we'll be looking at the teams that will make up the rosters for a whole year of racing. We'll go the way from the bottom up, starting with the Formula Challenge and finishing the Piste de Resistance of our night the Super League entrance. So, hold your breath. Here we go with Formula Challenge. 16 teams, including GPVWC Academy, and quite a new number of new faces here. We've got some returning names. We've got some mainstays of racing. Deltec Racing comes back. We've got Alpha confusion between Alpha Sierra Simracing and Alpha Delta. We manage in Formula One with Alfa Romeo AlphaTauri, so we'll manage in the Formula Challenge as well. We've got teams from all over the place, and I'm very, very happy to welcome all the newcomers to the league. I speak on behalf of the whole management and administration when I do so. It's always an interesting thing to let teams into Formula Challenge, because you always wonder, those teams, names you've never seen before, and you never know which one in 5-6 years' time will be fighting at the top in the Super League. I remember when most of the teams that have been competing now joined, some you knew, some were completely unknowns, and nowadays the mainstays of competition. So welcome to everybody, and we're really looking forward to the races the Formula Challenge will offer with the new points, new format, so interesting racing. Moving one step up to the Super Cup, will be 15 teams joining us, and these are their identities. Got Malta Force Grand Prix, Satellite Racing, stalwarts of the team for many, many years. Gallery 82, PB Racing, and ST Racing, teams with a lot of tradition and history. We've got Rowing Grand Prix, Pisa ZW, Red Arrow Racing that makes a step down from the Super League after one season. They'll be competing in Super Cup level this year. And a lot of teams that we've grown to love and appreciate over the last few years in Formula Challenge and also in other series are now making up these 15 teams that will compete in Super Cup. We will now moving on to the management series, the Super League Lights and the Super League. I have to say, like, some of the choices really put the management team in a big difficulty. There were a lot of teams that showed some incredible things in the course of 2020, made credible applications to make a step up. And it was not very easy when you got so many teams to make a selection. At the same time, you can't have in Super League Lights series with 42 cars, so you have to draw the line somewhere. My invitation as a former manager and somebody who's known this league forever is don't give up if you don't make it at the first time, because there will be opportunities and the cream always eventually rises to the top. It is now time, though, to look at the 15 teams making up Super League Lights series. So give a big welcome, a virtual round of applause to these 15 teams. A lot of new names, a lot of different identities. Some of the teams may have like previous identities and just rebranded, but we are confident this is one of the strongest Super League Lights fields in the history. Okay, it's only the third season, but compared to some of the years we've had, there's a lot of these teams that wouldn't look out of place in Super League. So they will be the ones challenging, a bit like in F2, if you want, to make their way up to the very top in 2021. And there's one thing left only to go through, and it's the Super League teams. Joining us for 2021 the 15 teams that will make up the competition in our flagship series. This one, led by Adonis, reigning champions and Evolutions runner-up, Scuderia Basilea, Edge Esports, Red Archer, the former Constructor Championship, returning for another season, Holland Racing Team, the best new team of 2020, Bruce Esports, Street Fighter Racing Systems, Ghost Speed Racing Team, Burst Esports, which is a rebranding of Flag to Flag, who's now been taken over also elsewhere by Burst, Green Stripes Racing, Epic Racing making a very welcome return to the top flight, Cenobite Motorsports, the reigning Super League Lights champion, TG Racing Esports with welcoming Terrence back to the top flight, and MDR Racing Team. So I would like to personally welcome all the teams in these 4 layers and 4 tiers. We know you will deliver an incredible quality of racing, and now the onus is on us to create the best content and the best possibility for you to show us what you can do. Next year is going to be a cracker, that I know. We don't know who's going to win. We don't know who's going to come on top. And we know for certain there will be some surprises along the way. So these are the teams, and this brings to an end our broadcast of the 2020 GPVWC Day. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. I want to thank once again Tom, Rob, and Menno who join us on the broadcast, but I also want to thank Chris, Rick, and all the other guys, everyone. There's too many to mention. I would miss out on somebody. We've been working not just in the last few weeks and not just in the last few months, but for years and years to bring GPVWC sim racing to where it is now. Again, we are a community league. We're not a profit league, and we're just made possible by the incredible work of so many volunteers and so many people, sim racing fans, who just want to contribute their time, their energy, and their resources to making this league as good as it can be. 2020 was not an easy year, but we've shown that with strength and resilience, the league can get stronger. And this is what we want to go for 2021 and beyond. We want to grow what we have, build on it, and really deliver the best in racing we've ever had. What really makes this league, as we mentioned several times during this broadcast, is the community. We're people that look out for each other. There's friendships that's been created throughout years and years of racing here in this league, and this is what really matters. That's why we have these events. Tom mentioned this. This is not something other leagues would have, the sense of the spirit that we have. And it's important that when the racing starts, we remember this and we make sure that the sense of cohesion is extended as well to all the newcomers. They inevitably will come as we keep growing. We've done a lot of work behind the scenes, and we will be doing a lot of work until the start of the season to strengthen our offerings, to strengthen the structures, and strengthen the management team running the league. By all means, if you want to be a part of it, do let us know. Get in touch with any of us, with Tom, with Menno, with me, with Chris, with Rob. There are jobs for everybody, and we want to make sure that we take your skills and give them the best platform possible. We're very excited about what 2021 and 2022 are going to offer. We're going to keep developing a new website with the excellent job that Stefan is doing. We're going to bring in new features. We're going to make the racing and everything that surrounds it better. But we can only do this with you. I'm very, very happy to have been able to host you tonight. Thanks again to everybody who joined. Thanks again for everybody who contributed. to the guys at IMB Raceware for joining us tonight and for the support they've been giving us, and to all our partners present and future. It's me here from a very snowy Zurich in Switzerland. I'm Will Ponisi from GPVWC Simracing. Good night.